I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bill?
Yes.
Sean?
Yes.
Betty? Here. Chris?
Here.
Hank?
Here.
All accounted for.
Okay, approval of prior meeting minutes. Are there any additions, corrections?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Carried. Okay, highway superintendent.
All right, since the end of last month, we finished mowing the second pass on all the roads. A few spots will be hit again where drifts tend to form because of the grass alongside the road once we get done hauling sand. We've repaired a couple bad spots on the Crutz Road. Cold patch shoulders where they continually wash. A few of the hills, they constantly wash because the buggies get off the blacktop and makes tracks and they constantly wash. So we tried putting cold patch in, hopefully stop them from doing that. The newly paved roads were shouldered. I gave each of you a copy of an updated machinery list, which I believe to be true. Currently, we're started hauling in sand. The county is nice enough to offer some help so we get it done a little quicker. And the last thing I got is I just want to thank the board. I attended highway conference last week, and it was a joint conference between the county officials across the state and the highway guys. So it was a joint venture to try keeping costs down a little bit, I guess. And I appreciate the board allowing me the funds to be able to go. And that's all I got, unless you got some questions.
Any questions for Artie? Okay, are you gonna stick around for our budget?
Hopefully.
Okay.
It ain't till midnight.
Then we'll come back to you then. All right. Motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
Hank?
I'll second it.
Sean. Okay, any further discussion? Questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, the justice report.
I'll make a motion to accept the justice report.
Okay,
I'll second.
second. Second by Betty. Just in the way of discussion in the proper area, the state was in here, looked over our courtroom again, and still decided that it failed miserably. So, if anybody would like to read it, I have a copy of it. We obviously are unable to address that until some of this other stuff is taken care of. I just have to say thank you to Judge Deiger for putting up with the situations that we put him into. Any more discussion on the court? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the dog control officer.
Okay, last month I handled 2 complaints. I received a call for a lost dog up on Acre Road, which is still missing at last check. I completed a rabies case that was started back in May, and I issued 11 10-day notices for non-renewal. And I received a call from a woman that had purchased a cat off Facebook that was unmanageable. She wanted me to come get it. The cat actually came from Syracuse, and I explained to her that I don't take care of cats, and referred her back to the woman that she got it from, which that woman had blocked her, so she couldn't contact her, and so then I referred her to the animal shelter. That's all I could do. And I'm still chasing the dog on Golf Road.
Any questions for our animal control officer?
Cheryl, is that the black and tan dog over on Groff that's, yeah?
Got left by
Yeah, they got
People
left by
that
those
own
people
those
that,
locals, yeah.
yeah.
Smart dog she is, very smart.
I mean, it seems like a very nice dog. It's a shame we can't.
I've tried everything. I've set a trap. I've rebaited the trap every other day for like 5 weeks. I've covered it. I've not covered it. I've tried several different covers, tarp, blankets, hay. I've had an animal behaviorist go up there with me on numerous occasions. I've had now the guy that bought the place just brought in this because the brush is like over 6 foot tall up there, so now it's getting hard to even see her unless she's right out in the open. And he was up there Sunday. I mean, I go up there and I spend 7 hours at a rip, sitting there waiting for her to come out. I've sedated her 3 times or given her sedative 3 times, and it's having. A sedative on a dog will either work the way you want it to and sedate it, or it'll have an adverse effect. It's having an adverse effect on her. I've given her enough tranquilizer for a 100-pound dog, and she only weighs like 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, I don't know what she's eating either over there.
Well, people were feeding her, so I put a sign up down at the bottom of the driveway to please not feed her because I was trying to catch her, and the food disappeared. I mean, I didn't see any more food after that. But the people that lived there, before they left, they had a freezer full of food, and they just dumped it on the ground. So she was like, I mean, there's like Ziploc bags, styrofoam trays, everywhere is up there. And the guy that took the place over last Sunday, I went up there, because I was going to try to sedate her again, but he had brought in this giant, like, brush hog thing. It's got tracks on it. It doesn't even have tires. It'll cut down a sapling like 6 inches around. And he cleared most of it around the house out, so now I've got a better view. But what she does is, the guy owns 11 acres up there, and trust me, I've been over the whole 11 acres, more than once. And she'll eat the sedative, and then she takes off, and then I can't find her. So, but I'm still working on it.
Good luck if you need an extra set of hands.
Yeah, good call.
I appreciate it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the dog control officer's report?
Promotion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the assessor's report. Everybody have a copy of it? See the first item in the assessor's report. Shall we try to address that at the next meeting? No, I told her there's really no reason for her to be here tonight. Well, it's not really on an agenda item now, so it doesn't need tabling, but, be ready, we'll bring it up next
Yeah.
meeting? Okay.
Hopefully by then we have a budget squared away. Just to, not to get off topic, but does anybody know what town of Florida does with their solars? How they're doing it? Because if you drive through the town of Florida, they have solar farms all over the place in that town. Literally all over the place. And I mean, they're big farms. One takes up probably, I'd say, probably 50 acres on a south-facing slope.
Well, just taking a guess, but our soil is richer. It runs more clay down in that area, and easier for somebody to buy or lease if it isn't appropriate for farm.
I was just curious if they're doing like
I think.
this exemption or using the pilot.
Sean, it also has to do with the size of the array. What they pick, and I know that our planning board can tell you a lot, because they modeled our law, from the town of Florida law. And I know that there's a lot of ins and outs about the arrays, but over a certain size, the local community doesn't have any input anyway now.
Yeah, Como can jam it in.
He can jam it in, and the local community can't even collect anything for it, so it's, I'm not sure what sizes they're in. Amanda can tell you, because she's been involved in every one, but we should get some data and know a little more as part of our research, I guess.
It also depends on the availability of a substation. Unlike around here, I'm trying to think where the nearest substation is. Like I know with Kennedy Harry's project, they're able to tap into one right there on Route 10. I mean, over in the town of Florida, I don't know. I assume they have a substation around, it also depends on how big it is and what type of a load they can support.
The windmill discussion was pretty similar in the town of Palatine previously. You gotta hook it to somewhere.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You can't just feed it just to a normal line. You gotta have something that could be able to take it.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the assessor's report?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, code enforcement. You all have the report. I'm assuming. In front of you. Okay, do I have a motion to accept the report?
I make a motion, we accept the report.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, town clerk.
I came in yesterday and to no internet. I was on the phone for probably a half an hour with this lady trying to get it done. I got in, but I'm having a problem getting on Frontier to get the emails out. The router is old. I asked her about another router, but she didn't seem to be willing to think of that, but, or even do anything about it, but, Leanne had to reset it 3 times. I set it about 5 times and ended up calling. I don't know what to do about it, but, sometimes we just keep resetting, so maybe we can talk to somebody to maybe get a new router to put in here or something. Other than that, hunt licenses are still selling. The deadline for a doe permit is Sunday, so I was quite busy today with hunting licenses. Other than that, I got nothing.
We got the same problem with the Frontier at our house. We reset it about 5 times a day.
Yeah, yeah. But I had the same thing at my house, but we got a different router and it seems to be fine now. So that's why I'm wondering, this router has been here since I've been here, so it's
It's,
quite old.
it's Frontier in general, it's junk, period.
Well, if it gets wet,
Yeah.
they go out.
I mean,
Hank, right, it's-
I know they have Spectrum around here. I don't know if it's possible, you know, why we don't have Spectrum instead of Frontier for our.
Actually, AT&T's offering something now too, with a
Wow.
with a hotspot.
Oh, is it? Well, I know, you know, Spectrum is here. It's the cable company is here, so that might be a
Weren't they gonna pull out
possibility
of New
too.
York though?
Hmm?
There was something about they were gonna pull out of New York. I don't know if that's true.
Oh, I don't know. That's all I got.
So what's the board's pleasure here? It's my experience, the routers deteriorate with age, and your problem isn't going to go away. We should address it somehow. Does somebody want to shop this thing?
Well, I think it's Frontier's equipment, isn't it, the router?
That's right, it's their equipment.
Okay, so when I wanted a new router, I called Frontier and asked to escalate, and they moved us up through there, and they mailed us a new router in like a couple of days. Maybe we can make a complaint high enough and get a brand new router there for free. And,
Or do we have,
No, they don't.
I was just gonna say, do we have maintenance on
No.
Frontier?
You call them and you make a nuisance out of yourself, and they'll come and replace the router after a fashion. However, what we should do is know what the alternatives are before we call on the router. Do these other services cost more than the local phone company? Are they as reliable? Is there anyone here that's using Spectrum or AT&T?
I know my mom just got AT&T
I have
today.
Spectrum, I'm happy with it.
You have Spectrum?
I do, for my Wi-Fi. And that's running, what am I paying? 65? 70, I wanna say, and that's for 4G.
Is that for the cable and or is that just for the Wi-Fi?
That's just for the Wi-Fi, yeah.
Just for the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have an alternative that's available. We would have to shop it to know whether it's competitive or not. And we also have the alternative of just getting a new router out of them, making ourselves.
Well, I can start
Kind of
calling,
miserable.
I can start calling them and asking them for a new router and see where that goes.
Can you be a nuisance?
Yeah, I can be, oh, yes, I can.
Okay, all right, so why don't we go there? Can I ask you to call Spectrum and get the details of their
Yeah.
service?
Yeah.
And make yourself into a nuisance for Frontier? Because that's what it takes, I've done the same thing.
Yep, I'll see if I can have it done for next month's meeting.
We'll have a motion to accept the town clerk's report.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, planning board.
Let's see, previous meetings, planning board meeting, has been pretty quiet the last couple months. No new projects, nothing's really come up. Again, we've been talking with the project developer for this project going up on, not Rock Road, it's actually been a while since I remember, but the solar farm that they want to put up in town.
Nellis
And-
Road, wasn't it?
What's that?
Nellis Road, wasn't it?
Yes, Nellis, thank you. And they'll be actually meeting with us, representative, our next meeting, which is next week. Also, we also have a representative from NYSERDA who we've been kind of playing phone tag, trying to set up a date and trying to meet up. And she wants to come by and any questions we have for her. Her name is Juliana Lee. And so happens one of the dates that she has available is also next week, the same time as our planning board meeting. So we're actually going to hopefully meet up with her and this representative at the same time. Maybe we can knock down a few more questions, anything that's brought up, instead of going, well, I have a question for so-and-so, and have to call them. At least we'll have both people in the same room, hopefully at the same time. So next week's meeting is going to be pretty interesting. But again, this representative from NYSERDA that's going to come, if we have any questions for her, especially about a pilot program, she'd be more than willing to answer and help us with that as well. As far as our steering committee, again, we're kind of at a bit of a, not really like hiatus. We're getting surveys back. Currently, we have almost 200 mail-in surveys that were brought back in, and that's just the mail-in. I don't know about the Survey Monkey, how many people have actually gone online and done the surveys that way. When I talk to Mark, I'll get the numbers hopefully by next month's meeting. And I also have a copy of not only the ad that we put in the paper, but also I have a printout of the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, all the ideas that people brought to the meeting. Yeah, thank you. And sir, broken down. Yep. There's one.
Yes, please.
Hey, thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Thanks, Joe.
You want one already?
Sure, if you have
Sure.
this one.
Sure.
Thanks.
But we don't expect the surveys all to be returned until, I want to say it's beginning of December. We expect all the, that's the deadline for all the surveys to be returned back. In the meantime, Nancy is going to take whatever surveys we have and start breaking them down and start doing an outline, breaking down all the answers. So hopefully by the beginning of December, we'll start moving along with this comprehensive plan. And as I said, next week's meeting, we'll have the representative from NYSERDA, we'll have the representative from Jordan Energy Group coming about the Nellis Farm solar project. So if we have any questions, I do encourage that the board come to that meeting, especially to talk to the NYSERDA representative.
Thank you.
Yep, that's all I have.
Any questions?
Joe, how many, just a rough idea, how many mailers went out?
I think we sent out, if I had to guess off the top of my head, 500.
You got 200
500,
back?
600 mail out.
Yeah, third bag.
Which,
Not
I'm not
bad.
surprised.
Yeah, not bad at all.
But as I
actually.
said, I mean, that's just the mail-in.
Right.
Even some people decide to go online and do it, so
Yeah.
hopefully.
I think that's a higher rate than when the Village of Fonda did theirs, if I
Yes,
remember
it is.
Vander saying, we're doing just great, and we haven't even gotten the online ones back.
Yes,
So-
exactly. So if we get 250, let's say, I feel that's a good turnout.
Great job.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to accept the report?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any more discussion? I would like to say at this time that this is pretty important for the town of Palatine. We have businesses looking on this Route 5 corridor, and putting in water and sewer should be a priority for us. If we want to see any change in assessed value in this town of a substantial nature, that's where it will come from. And applying for grants and aid in putting in sewer and water along that Route 5 corridor is important. And this has to precede it. So it's important stuff for us. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, Board of Ethics.
For this month, we didn't meet, we don't have anything to report out, but will next month.
Basically no report. All right, council comments. Anybody from the council have anything to say?